Good
Not,
for you
not
guys.
10. And not just construction in Utah, just like 11th in Utah.
11th in Utah, regardless of industry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you guys.
It's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, if you looked at construction in Utah, then we're 4th. So
Wow.
it's like, yeah, maybe look at that. Yeah. 4th. Wow. guys,
That's
good
huge.
job.
That's
Good job.
awesome.
really
Look,
cool.
we're here with royalty. Hey everybody, welcome to RunLeadGen Radio, your go-to podcast for all things digital marketing and growing your business with your hosts Quinn
And Brian.
And today we have the Wrights with Wright Landscaping, Nicole and Brent Wright. We're super excited to have them. Per usual, we are trying to get business owners that are trying to grow their businesses on the podcast. And we're talking about what's working for them, what's not working for them. What have they tried? What haven't they tried? So before we get into all that, let's let you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves. How did you get here? What are you guys doing? Give us a little introduction.
Cool. First of all, thank you for having us on. I actually know Quinn and Brian from SEO Works, I guess, at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So it's great. It's great to see you guys again and good to see you guys are doing well. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good to see you guys. And that's, we were so excited to see that you guys are running your own business. It's something that we've had a greater appreciation for as we've done so as well. So yeah, tell us about it.
Cool. Yeah, babe, take it away.
All right, cool. So yeah, we're Wright Landscaping. We're the two owners of it. And just a quick snapshot of where we're at right now. Currently we have 4 teams, 2 drivers or material runners, a dump truck driver, and a project manager. So I believe we have 27 employees right now. Does that sound
Somewhere
right
around
to you?
there.
It's awesome.
It did not start out that way, of course. So,
Wow.
So 2019, that's when I quit my job and went full time, just doing landscaping. And basically, Nicole, she worked her job, and then she just made sure to have baths and dinner ready for me at 10:30 or 11 o'clock when I
Nice.
came home at night. And so it's just been, like a gradual process. There was a pretty big event in 2020. We bought out an old employer of mine that I worked for before my mission.
Cool.
He was wanting to retire, so we bought his equipment. He had a few employees. They ended up coming and working for us as well.
I think you need a preface. So
Yeah.
before we bought this business, Brent had done a year of business. So he quit his job in 2019 and really just started doing his own thing. So he called this guy and said, hey, can you please give us just some advice? Like, how do we hire employees? Should we buy machines? Like, what should we do? And so
Yeah.
Brent kind of got talking to him and just said, what do you think? And so he just asked Brent, he's like, well, how have you done this year? Like, how much money have you made? And Brent kind of shared that. And the guy was just like, holy cow, like this guy's
Gunning
doing,
for it, yeah.
this guy's doing really well for just being a one-man show.
This guy must not be at home a lot.
Yeah. And so he just said at the end of the conversation, would you be interested in buying my business? And so the time we had money, but we didn't have that type of money to be buying this
Sure.
business. So we did what any young and dumb, like 2 people who want to own their own business would do. And we sold our home and we took the equity from our home and purchased this business. And it was hard. Like, you think that you're buying an established business and everything would be awesome, butterflies and rainbows, and you're going to be making a ton of money. And it was just not that.
Yeah, we're kind of sold a bill of goods, what it really was. And so with that purchase, he had a couple of customer contacts, commercial customers that can give some recurring work. But those and the employees were gone within 6 months.
Oh,
and so
wow.
into the next year, into 2021, we're just like, oh, wow, so now we're basement dwellers again, right?
Yeah.
Thankfully, we were able to live with her parents and they helped us out. We just barely had a new baby at the time.
Oh my goodness.
But
it's a lot.
basically, we were basement dwellers, straddled down with a ton of debt. And a lot of it was coming due in 3 years. We had a note with him where it say 3 years from now, this is due. So it's just like, oh my gosh, what did we do? So we didn't do really anything else that year except for work really hard. And then she started to reach out cold to some home builders.
Yeah, and I think honestly, Brent just worked so that we wouldn't go bankrupt. Like it wasn't to make it wasn't to make any money. And so that first year was really, really hard.
Wow.
And I think from that point, I could see the writing on the wall that this just wasn't going to go well. And Brent was doing we wanted to have a commercial team and we wanted to have a residential team. And I could just see the writing on the wall. The residential thing was just not a good idea.
It doesn't work. It's not
And
able to
so-
scale the way we want it to.
Right. And so I could see that commercial was really where we wanted to hit home.
Yeah.
And so that's actually what our niche is. So we don't do hardly any residential work. We only work with commercial builders.
Okay.
And so, like, I mean, you think of any commercial builder, like say Visionary Homes, for example, we, instead of trying to get one customer with like a residential home, we try to get one customer with this huge developer.
Sure. Right.
And so instead of doing one home, we do 300 homes, and maybe that's a span of 3 years of work. And so we're able, with one client, we're able to get a lot of work for many years. And so that's kind of where we've really honed in on our craft and been, I feel like, been somewhat successful.
I think we've seen success from that. For sure.
And even so that, I don't know if we've mentioned this or you guys knew this, but we actually made the Inc. 5000 list this year.
Let's go.
Yeah. We ranked 390. And you share the stats.
So we were ranked 390 on the list. So out of all companies in the country, doesn't matter industry, but we were 25th in the country in construction.
That's
and
awesome.
11th in Utah. So not
Good for you
not
guys.
And not just construction in Utah, just like 11th in Utah.
11th in Utah, regardless of industry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Look at you guys.
It's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, if you looked at construction in Utah, then we're 4th. So it's like, maybe look at that. Yeah. 4th. Wow.
That's
good
huge.
job.
That's
Good job.
awesome.
Really
Look,
cool.
we're here with royalty.
I don't know about that. But.
Yeah, so you guys, there's a lot to unpack here. We've talked, and I want to talk about kind of what's working and what's not working and stuff that you guys have done. But something that's intriguing to me, almost everybody that we talk to, when they finally make the decision to go all in on their business, I swear it's accompanied with all sorts of other major life changes. And you guys mentioned you had baby. Sometimes people lose their job. A lot of our listeners are business owners or trying to be business owners. They're trying to grow their business. What can you say about the motivation to go all in? And maybe, how has going all in then influenced the growth of your business? Well, obviously.
Yeah, I think we've had that, 2 separate times. One when we bought the company, and second when we made the initial jump, just for me to quit and do it full time. And I think anytime you do it, there's that, that element of, mystery, uncertainty, fear. There's almost like, you need to take a leap of faith. You're not really sure where you're going to be landing. And I think the most important thing is just to kind of follow it through, just really push it through. Be as prepared as you can. You'll never be fully prepared.
Never a
And
perfect
definitely
moment.
wasn't how it was for us too.
No, and I think one thing that you just have to kind of accept when you're starting a business is it's just going to be hard. And it's just how long can you be strong for? I know that sounds really bad, but honestly, like, at least for us, like, we could have quit, I think, hundreds of times. We just chose not to. And every time we chose not to, we just like either made a lot of money or just really got really resilient.
Yeah.
And it put us in front of the right people at the right time. And so I think it's just that. It's just having a little bit of grit and just wanting to stay in it, despite maybe the circumstance, despite maybe like not having a home anymore and having a child, and not seeing your husband or spouse, I guess, for, a long time.
Sure.
And just kind of maybe being a single parent for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it worked out. So
I love it.
yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And I think there are many that maybe find that it didn't work out or that it's not working out. What words of wisdom would you guys have to say to them?
I think the calm comes after the storm passes, and it's just, dig your heels in, stay up later than you normally do, right? Just get through that time, because there's going to be bad times, but because there are bad times, there's going to be good times ahead of that too.
Yeah.
Is what we found.
And I think also when you're in that sometimes this is hard to do. And I've seen a lot of, and I think I can only really speak on construction because that's the industry that we're in. But I think I've seen a lot of people in construction struggle. And the thing is they just keep going. I just got to get another job. I think sometimes what you need to do is just kind of stop and analyze what you're actually doing and if that's actually helping. Because that was a situation where we were in, where we just kept getting jobs and it's like we weren't making money. It's like, how are we not making money?
Why is this so painful?
Why is this so painful? And it wasn't until, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but it wasn't until there was an opportunity that arose, and there was just no way Brent could bid something out this big in the short amount of time that we had.
Sure.
And it kind of took him looking at our business, looking at what we've done, to really figure out, okay, wait, there's got to be a better way to do this. And once we were, it honestly changed not only, you know, obviously us getting that job, but it changed the trajectory of our business. And so I think stopping and looking and evaluating your business and what you're really doing, like, is it working? Is there changes that we can do? And can we pivot? I think is something that sometimes people think that they don't have time for. Like, you have time to analyze your business and make the necessary changes. Because sometimes if you just keep doing the same thing, like, sometimes that ends up not great.
Same result, right?
Same result.
Yeah.
Same result.
Yeah,
So we're into marketing. What are you guys doing right now for marketing that is working?
Okay, so this is actually, I think, an interesting question. I'm going to, I think I'm going to kind of touch on social and then get back to your question real quick. So something that we've done, well, maybe I'll go back. So a lot of the clients that we don't just get from just like doing paid search or doing SEO, really.
Sure.
It's a lot of like one-on-one, because a lot of these developers, they have a specific person within their organization that Brent needs to talk to. They're the ones who give the plans. So it's kind of hard. Like, marketing's been kind of interesting because, you know, being, or I guess I don't know how to say that. Having been in marketing, you would think, okay, we'll just do some SEO, we'll do some paid ads, and we'll get clients. But those aren't necessarily the clients that we want to get or need to get. So we still do SEO. So
you have a website.
So we do have a website.
Okay.
Yep. And we kind of have done a little bit of a rebrand. So we do have a website. We've been doing SEO for like 5-ish years. So we're pretty well known with it.
And you guys are doing that yourselves? You hired that out?
Yeah,
You're working with...
Yep. So we're working with RunLeadGen right
Nice.
now.
Okay.
And I just because they've done a lot of our stuff. That's
Absolutely.
just kind of who we've stuck to.
Sure.
But so one of the things that we do is we focus a lot on reciprocity within our company. And so it's like, okay, you've done a lot of work for us. Like, we want to be thankful and show you how grateful we are that you are a client. So
Love that.
Something that we've done is we've purchased, so we're jazz season ticket holders. And so something that we've done is we take our clients to jazz games.
Super cool.
Just as a thank you. Hey, thank you for all of your work, because it's a lot of work, and they not only feed us, but like our employees.
Our family, our employees' families.
Right.
Yeah, and so we've done a lot of taking them to jazz games. And so one particular game, we had this client who was like, "Oh yeah, we just before we came, we got on your guys' Instagram page." And they got on our Facebook and our YouTube channel that we had, and we were mortified.
Yeah.
We were mortified.
Like, oh no, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Like,
why did you do that?
Yeah, like, why did you do that? Then they told us that they watched like our wedding video. Anyways,
Like, oh man.
we were pretty embarrassed. And so we realized at that point, so this was like last year, that we needed to make a change. And so we started slowly with a rebrand. And so we've kind of been rebranding this year. Nice. And we then started doing some social media stuff. And this is fairly recent. But we've gotten some, good feedback from that, which has been really good. We've had a lot of people come out and say they really like our brand when they see us, when they get on our website. Yeah. They think it's a really good experience, and they love, you don't think as landscaping is sexy, but that's kind of like the brand that we've kind of just taken on now. Yeah. It's like landscaping, like we are the landscaper that has this really cool brand, but we'll take care of you. If manscaping can be sexy, landscaping certainly can too, right? Let's be honest. So
yeah, there is a differentiation between those two. But
sure.
Yeah, we're trying to.
I love that.
So what kind of things are you guys posting on social?
Yeah, so this is something that is fairly recent. So we hired this company and in Bountiful, it's called Content Kitchen. And so that's a plug for them. But Content Kitchen, they're just like this full service, like video setup. Like they've got this place down in Bountiful where you can go and film podcasts there. They've got these studios there. I think microphones and cameras, and it's kind of like a subscription base. Okay. And they've got like Netflix, what do you call it? Grade cameras.
Oh, nice.
Like good equipment. Like, yeah, we've been really impressed with the content.
Love that.
So they'll come out, you pay them like their subscription fee. They'll come out for 2 hours and film all your stuff and then send you clips of what they've gotten. It's really easy and awesome. But we've actually gotten quite a bit of like just really positive response. So that's kind of what we're doing now, which is honestly, I think we've had quite a bit of, what would you say, like positive
traction.
response? Yeah, traction.
Yeah, I'd say that too. And like to answer that, since the main decision makers, sorry, I'm fumbling over my words here.
No, you're good.
Since the main decision makers are, the work we do is face to face.
Right.
If they're to look us up or the time comes that they come across us, they see our truck, they scan the code, whatever it is, they go to our social, they can see basically, a portfolio in a sense where, okay, these guys do exactly what I need and they do a good job.
Love it.
Great.
And we look professional doing it. Like we don't look like slummy.
Right.
Yeah.
We look like we've got a really, really presentable guys, and our brand is the same throughout whatever social or online presence that you go on and look
Which
at.
makes a difference. I mean, consider yourself as a consumer sometimes, right? If you go and you're looking at a business to run a service for you or a product and they don't have that setup, it's difficult for us to have trust in them,
That's
to
exactly
know that
it.
they have good product or service. And so a lot of people, we will get met with all the time with, I guess you could say, pushback. Why would I need marketing? Why should I do social? Why should I? And the reality is we as humans, we need social proof. We need to know that other people have liked it. We need to see that people,
exactly
how they're responding to it. We like to sift through the comments of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. You got to go and see all the things to see what people are saying to generate an opinion. And so this is why SEO in general has become so heavily influenced by EAT, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, and experience. So EEAT, right? You've got to show that you are good at what you do and you are who you are, or else people aren't going to buy. So I want to say one more thing. We say it almost every podcast, every business should consider 3 major channels. Inbound marketing, which is an in-house marketer could do that. An agency could do that. You could do that yourself. Inbound marketing is your SEO, your Google ads, your Facebook ads, right? Bringing people in. Outbound marketing, your mailers, your cold calls, getting out there, knocking doors.
Yep.
And then you've got strategic business partnerships. And something that one of our clients who we had on the podcast, Wes at MSOF, said, and I love it, is take care of your people.
Yep.
Take care of your clients, take care of your employees, take care of your relationships, because not only is this just good omens, giver's gain type mentality, but relationships are key to growing your business.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think that's something that I have focused on, that is, by default, Brent is obviously on board, but that's something that we've really focused on is, and I just go back to Reciprocity. Like there's this book that I read.
Giftology.
The Giftology.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you guys read that?
No, I should.
It's a pretty good book. Do you want to say anything about that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I thought you were going to. I think it's just focusing on, obviously your employees, right? We have really good employees, and we've created a culture where there's a lot, we've got kind of a waiting list of people who want to work for us,
yeah.
which has been really hard for construction to find good people that want to work for you and are just begging you to please. It's like, sorry, we just don't have room for
Right.
it.
Getting harder from what I've heard, like getting good people.
It is.
Yeah,
it
but
is.
I even talked to some of the builders we work with. Like, man, how's the labor been? I'm like, it's been awesome. It's been easy.
Killing it.
And honestly, knock
What are
on
you
wood.
doing?
Oh, I love it.
Well, I think it's just because the people we work with, they speak to their friends, they speak to family, and then it's just you even see our brand too. It's like we don't have turnover really, which is really quite nice, unless there needs to be.
Yeah.
It's usually instigated by us. If someone is just not performing at
Sure.
maybe the rate that we need, we still love that person, right? But if we love them too much, we're actually going to be hurting the other people on their team.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Eventually.
So we take care of obviously our employees, and we create a really positive place for them to work, despite construction, right? It's like you think construction's a little bit dirty and rough, but we've got really good people, and so that's been really great. But just going back to that, it's just reciprocity, giving back to the people that kind of feed you, and so we've really taken a focus in saying thanks and just letting them know that we care and appreciate all that they've done for us. Obviously it does take hard work from Brent, but I think that's something that's been really important and has helped us be really successful. We've won a lot of really big jobs Like, and that's something that we I think focus on is we're data driven. So the past 2 years we've had these jazz tickets, just for example.
Yeah.
We look back, okay, how much have we been able to actually make with these people by just saying thank you, like taking them and their wives, and that's something that we focus on. It's not their business partner, not someone in their company. It's the
Making
owner.
a personal connection.
Exactly,
Right.
making a personal, so they get to know.
Come take their kid, someone who likes the jazz.
Yeah.
And so it's great because they get to meet Brent, the owner, and Nicole, his wife, who is an owner, but I just mostly play the wife card at that point. But they get to take their spouse as well, and it's great because we get to say like, "Hey, so how's Caitlin doing? Like, how are your kids?"
I love that.
And it's been really awesome. But every year we've been able to go back and look at, okay, so how much have we made? Like, was this helpful? Like, do they care? And every year we've been able to continue buying these tickets because it's worked.
They pay for themselves, multiple times over.
That's fantastic.
Great. Yeah, it's been great.
We and we've mentioned this before, and we're not in any way, shape, or form sponsored by BNI. BNI is a Business Network International group. It's a group of networking people, right? Yeah. But this has been a really pivotal point for us we found going into that, the mentality of BNI is givers gain. That's their motto, right? Givers gain. What you put out, comes back.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people will start a networking group, trying to grow their business with this mentality of what am I going to get? How am I going to get clients here?
Yep.
And I can tell you right now, we went into BNI because we actually needed an insurance guy and we needed a bookkeeper and we gained right out of the gate just with the connections that we were making with these people and keeping it local. But it has absolutely turned out to be that way for us, where we went into this thinking, how can we meet people? How can we create relationships? And it actually has turned out to be a large
source of new contacts,
client acquisition. Yeah.
The other thing that we've been doing, because we've tried to do that from the beginning of, we just want to give value out and we know it's going to come back.
It
and
will.
So
yeah.
we started with these, especially for SEO and local SEO, reviews make such a big difference.
Yeah.
And again, social proof. And so we started doing these tap to review cards. So just like you tap to pay somewhere, you tap and then you do
Very
the
cool.
review. And so we've just been giving them out. We're just handing them out like candy, basically, and helping people program them. And then it's easy to get those reviews.
And a lot of people, they'll sell that as a service, they'll sell it as a product. And we're like, look, this is something we can do right now just to help you grow.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people put them on their salespeople or their fulfillment people, and they can pull them out of there.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
And we give them out literally free to any business in Utah. So if you guys know business owners, they can put it on their reception desk. They can put, and it's just not that QR code's bad technology, but this doesn't require people to pull up their phone. They don't need to know how to click on. They just tap it and it's open, and we make sure that it goes right to their Google review.
I love that.
But we did that through that same lens of let's give out value.
Let's give out more value.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that is the best way. And you don't feel bad for doing so much, right? Like, you're never going to leave a situation saying like, bummer, I wish I didn't give so much,
Yeah.
It's like, well, that goes out into the world will take care of it all on its own. So
Right.
I think that's awesome.
So let's dive a little bit into, you guys have talked about rebranding and brand in general, and we're talking about organic social. There are so many things that business owners can and should do, but I think something that we often kind of wrestle with is when and why would you then get that off your plate, right? When did you decide to hire out either SEO Works or Upwind Engine or this other content hub? When and why did you get involved with them? What can you tell other business owners about that?
Well, I think when you maybe look at us now, I mean, we've been in business for a while, and so you may think like it's a little fancy, and it probably is. But I think something that, and this is just for the people who are wanting to start out, you can always take your phone out. You can always just do it.
Right.
You don't have to hire this fancy company. Yeah. You don't have to do all this stuff. But I think we've been put in a position where it's like, okay, now let's put money back into our business and make us look a little nicer and give us that social proof. Or wait, is that called social proof?
Social proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Image.
Yeah, image. Yeah, and where it's like you look at us and you kind of already know us. You kind of know Brent. He's been able to talk to you through your Instagram account. But I just want to just make that clear. Like, you don't have to do all this fancy stuff. But I think we're just to the point where of our business where we just need to reinvest back into our image and just give us a little bit more of that class to where we can get more customers quicker.
That's right.
You know, they can get onto our socials or our Facebook page and say, oh, these guys have been doing, this developer stuff or builder stuff for a while. Like, let's give them a shot.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
It does. Yeah.
Okay.
We say this, businesses, they're a machine, right? We're trying to, it's like those games you see sometimes. There's like these games where it's, whether it's Farmville or whatever, one thing leads to another thing, and you just got to make sure everything's oiled to work. And something I just spoke with a financial advisor. In fact, Rusty's going to be on our podcast next week, but he says often what people will do, there's so many people, so many influencers, so many content producers out there that are like, pay the extra month on your mortgage, or, pay down this or pay down that. And we kind of got talking for a second there, and it's like, what is the biggest vehicle that will take you the furthest, the fastest?
Yeah.
And that is, if you're a business owner and you're growing a business, that's your business. Yeah. So why wouldn't you invest in your business? So many times we get caught up on what's viral or popular because that's what a lot of people are finding success in. But imagine a scenario where I put all of any extra money I have into paying down my mortgage, right? Then that's not a bad thing to do, right? But my mortgage has got like a 3%, like a 2.9%, because I got in before the craziness.
You lucky
I am.
dog.
I'm lucky, right? But what I invest back into this business will return and yield so much higher. So this is something we struggle to communicate to business owners because they're hearing the noise of the virality out there. And it's like, no, you guys, your business, that's your vehicle. That's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to get the fastest, the farthest. Invest in your business. So many small businesses, they don't see themselves as business owners. They're, especially these contractors and these service companies, they're going to work till they're dead because they want to. I'm like, guys, work smarter, not harder. Build. And I said this before too. If for whatever reason I couldn't hack the marketing scene, right, and we had to start all over today, dude, I would find a business that had a high profit margin, like roofing or there's many out there.
Landscaping,
and I would invest in a static, predictable. I say scalable. I know that's a kind of a buzzword, but a predictable lead generation source. And I would do that not through something that's owned by Thumbtack or Home Advisor. I would build my brand. I would build my equity through my, social, through my paid, through my website. And then I would contract somebody out and build a business and grow it so that I can build equity in people and relationships. And so, man, I guess the takeaway here is invest in your business. Invest in your business because it's going to take you the furthest, the fastest.
And I think there's like small steps that you can take, like just kind of what you were saying. Like you can invest in a good phone. You can invest in like a digital marketing company. Some digital marketing companies have like $500 packages. You can at least start. You can get in at really, really, really small, and that can just give you back. I will say this though. I'm a believer of this, like what you put in, like you will get back out in marketing is what I think, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're putting in more money and you have someone who's strategic and really knows their stuff, I really do believe you can get back out. Like don't be spending like your last dollar on doing this
Sure.
and expect $1 million results. But I think you can start small and still be successful.
Well, I think there's more that can be spent too. Spending money can almost be kind of the lazy, alternative just to go to, when the thing that maybe your company needs, if, for those that are starting out, is you need to get in front of people. Who's going to actually be the one that's going to be your customer, right?
Right.
Like you can spend the effort, you can spend the energy, you can
That's right.
spend the time. But what it takes is to be creative, which maybe some people are, that's not their first inclination to be. And then also to be a little daring too, because it is kind of scary to get in front of people.
You got to move your feet. That's the end of the day. You got to move your feet.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, at what point did you guys feel like you weren't like dying? You know, when
This is
did,
such a big. I think I need to talk about it either.
when did you get out of the
love this
the just like, we don't know if we're going to live tomorrow stage? And I've asked this before, like, when do you feel like you've made it? And I think sometimes people feel like nervous to say, well, I've made it. But when did you feel like things changed?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it came when we had an opportunity, and that's the thing. When you have an opportunity, it's like you're up at bat, right? It's like swing the bat, swing your best.
Yeah.
You know, right? Focus as hard as you can. And that came, you know, she was reaching out to these builders cold. Like she was just
Doing that outbound marketing. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm talking like 2 a.m. in the morning, like, wow, this is like,
oh my
like
goodness.
stressed out. You know, there's a lot of fear going on, right? We want to change our circumstances, our situation.
Yeah.
So she was taking matters into her own hands. And thankfully, you know, when I was just able to meet with people, usually after the meeting, we ended up just working with them.
I love it.
It just worked out great. But an opportunity came. So this is the following year, after the year that was, you know, just really hard, right? So spring of 2022, I had an opportunity to bid on 300 unique home sites. You know, the scope of work wouldn't be different, but the quantity and the amounts that we'd be doing for each one would be very unique, right? And I needed to turn these back over to the individual who gave them to me a week later. So it's
Wow.
Wow.
So it's like
dude, like
300 different bins.
Exactly.
Wow.
Right.
Exactly. Like impossible.
I'm like, you know what? There has to be a better way that I can do this. And so I've been thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I've spent, you know, basically my whole career doing this, however long or short that's been, actually working in the field, doing the actual work. So it's like, I know how long this stuff takes. I know how long it takes if I have a team of 3. I know how long it takes if I have a team of 5 people. I'm like, you know, I'd love to figure out a way to just kind of quantify everything. And so what I came up with is basically what's now our own proprietary bidding software, where I plug in any quantity, depending on the city, where it's at, and it'll spit out to the penny what my cost is going to be for that project. Then I can turn what my markup or margin will be on it, whatever I want.
Nice.
But it'll also tell me how much time is required based on my crew size.
Fantastic.
So that gives me 2 things. It's number 1, I can bid just for, okay, these are my costs. Okay, I'm just going to put my margin. That's it. That's all I want. I just want my margin. It doesn't matter. There's no need to have any extra fluff. If I really know what my cost is, that's just what I'm going to send with my margin on top.
Love it.
But then I can also manage my guys and say, hey guys, we only have budgeted to be here a day and a half. If you take literally 3 hours more, the profit's gone.
Yeah.
At that point. That's how we start getting into a bad situation like we did all of the year prior.
Wow.
And the year before that. Like Brent went and afterwards, and just to kind of preface this thing was the thing that changed us from literally making peanuts to actually making money and being a successful company. Because I think that there is a lot of contractors, and I can only speak from what I know, right? There's a lot of contractors that don't know what their costs are. And so this app, so it's a web app right now that we're going to now start developing it into an actual app, and then hopefully
Let's go.
market out to a bunch of other people.
Good for you guys.
Because it is like with our first year using this thing, we like, I have it written down somewhere. I'm embarrassed to pull up my phone, but it's like I think our first year we like 3 times our business. Then the second year we 2 times it. And then the third year it's like 1.8. So almost doubled it. So it's like 3, 2, 2. Like we just like grew so fast, like a ridiculous amount, which we were really proud of, and honestly just grateful for that we had this tool to help us know what our numbers were, and so we could confidently say, yes, we can do this job. And if someone was like, you're too high, it's like, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't do your job.
Right.
I know what my costs are.
We know what our costs
literally.
are.
I love it.
We would be taking this job and then just not making
I'm
money.
not going to pay to put in this park with
You guys, this is such an important thing that I swear 9 times out of 10, the people that we talk to have not figured out. And if I can preface, I mean, think about anything, right? I follow a lot of fitness people, although that's hard for you to tell. But, you know, when we talk about bulking and cutting, it's caloric surplus or caloric deficit, right? You have to just know what goes in and what's out. Yeah. You talk to a financial advisor, you want to talk about budgeting. More has to come in than going out. For business, there are 2 things that people just have to know. What does it cost to acquire a client? Cost per acquisition, CAC, right? What does it cost for me to acquire a client, whether I'm buying them, whether I'm spending time on them, and then what is their lifetime value? Yeah. If you can get the ratio of what it costs to consistently, predictably buy a client and what they are worth to you, and it sounds like you guys can now do this on the fly, right? you're gonna be a profitable business, and you're gonna be able to then scale it out and grow it out and continue to grow it. But so many people, they've not answered this very specific question. And why is that?
It's a hard question to answer for a lot of businesses, especially with all the different channels out there that you could potentially spend on to get a client. That's probably one of the biggest things, but then the technology to be able to track and know, that's probably one of the more difficult pieces as well to solve.
And those are things that we help businesses solve, you know, from a technical, digital standpoint, wherever we can. But at the end of the day, if you don't know what it costs to get a client and you don't know what they're worth to you, then you don't know what your overhead can be. You don't know what your profit margins can be. You have to solve those two questions.
Yeah. And I think so afterwards, I think at the end of the year, because we just couldn't believe it. Like we went from Brent didn't get paid for a really long time. Like a lot of our checks went to paying for our equipment or our employees. And so a lot of the time it was like my income, you know, and
keeping you afloat. Yeah.
And I was fine with it, you know, like despite us having a child, like it was fine.
Super stressed and fearful. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was in it. I believed in Brent and I believed in what we had to offer. So I was happy to do that.
Yeah.
But we went back at the end of that year and I just said, hey, I just want you to see like how you used to bid, because a lot of these contractors, they all bid the same.
Yeah.
And I think you should talk about that. But he went through and he's like, okay, I'm going to bid this job that we already got, that we know we're making money on.
Yeah.
I'm going to bid it the same way that I used to bid. So he bid it out 2%.
Wow.
That was our profit, 2%. And so it's like, if they took an hour longer, we would instantly be negative. Or if they made one mistake, instantly not making any money.
Ugh.
And so it was hard. It was hard. And it was actually kind of sad because Brent worked for tons of contractors. He knew how these guys been, and that's how he did it.
Yeah.
And so but going back to what I had said before, a lot of these people, when I say you got to stop and look at what your business is doing, stop and analyze or reanalyze.
Yeah.
I think that's important, because if we hadn't done that, if Brent hadn't had his aha moment, I don't even know if we would be in business, or if we would, it was like, we just got to get to the next jobs just so that we can make it.
Wow.
Yeah, my hair would be gray for sure.
It's a luscious dark.
It's dark right now. Yeah. But it would have been great.
Yeah. So back to the original question. When was that pivot? When did that happen? When did you, and maybe not just year, but like how many years in, when did the aha moment take place?
I was like beginning of year 3.
Wow.
I'd say. But it was right after that really tumultuous time, you know, where it was like, wow, like
what's going to happen?
We're going to go bust here.
Yeah.
If we don't figure this out. Right.
But it literally changed once he made this product.
Yeah.
It changed right then, because at that point we knew what we could and we could not do. And so.
But we knew what was required of our guys too.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to hold your people accountable and push them if need be to.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're being a bad person or you're mean. It's, you know, you love these people. You want to make sure they have job security, right?
Absolutely.
They need to finish it in the time that's required.
Right. Oh, you guys, I love it. I love the confidence that exudes from you. I love how much you've learned and what that then has done for you in your business. I love how much you've grown. I love that you've been here to share this with us. Brian, did you have any other questions that you wanted to jump into?
One last question about marketing. Can you tell us about anything that you guys tried that maybe didn't work?
Harder to remember. They just kind of come and go.
Yeah, they kind of
Something in marketing that did not work.
That's okay.
You know,
I'm glad.
That's good. I mean, that's a good place to be,
I don't
right?
think so. I love marketing, and I think that if you're a business not investing in a website and B into some sort of like online presence, like I think you need to reevaluate. Even though, even that for us, like for example, like the common man is not our client.
Sure.
Right. And we still invest money into that, because if they go online and they say, okay, I'm in West Haven, Utah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I need to find a landscaper up here. And they type in West Haven, Utah, like we're going to show up, you know? And so I think just spending the money to do some marketing, like let yourself have a brand and let yourself have a presence, because it will not hurt you.
Yeah. Businesses are still ran by people. Yes, there is a B2B, play for people, but ultimately people are going to find you, and you have to establish relationships with people.
That's
Right.
We're in the same space. We're, a similar space in that we are not marketing out to the consumer per se,
Right.
but yeah, we do this all for ourselves as well. And
Businesses are run by individuals.
That's right.
You're right.
yeah. Well, awesome, you guys. We are so glad to have had you. Again, this is Wright Landscaping. Tell us one thing. Where are you located? Tell us something unique about you so we can remember you. How do people find you? Where do they go?
So, you can go to wrightlandscaping.com, or you can check us out at Wright Landscaping LLC on Instagram. We're in Utah, all
Nice.
on the Wasatch Front, and we're just now barely getting into the Wasatch back. I'd say if there's one thing that you could probably remember about us is that we are the preferred landscaper of choice for Utah's home builders.
Love it.
That's home builders are the customers that we curate to, and we spend the most time taking care of, and nobody works better with them than we do.
I love it.
So
You
cool.
guys, thanks so much again. This is RunLeadGen Radio. I'm looking for where you guys are at, where we help you grow your businesses, help you grow your marketing careers, and where we'll help you scale to success.